Hello, everybody. Welcome to the second episode of It's a Film Thing, it's a UWI Film Podcast. My name is Ijaz, and I'm going to be your host for this episode. And to my left, introducing the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Michael Mooleedhar.
What up?
You guys will know him from films such as Cool Boys, the utterly, should I say, infamous Queens of Europe.
Might be it.
Infamous, yeah. And most recently, well, a film that he's toured all over the world, Green Days by the River, which is an adaptation of the classic novel. Michael, thanks for coming here.
Hey,
It's
thanks,
good to
man.
see you again.
Happy to be here.
So, how you doing? What are you working on?
I'm good, keeping busy. Working, I always have projects, but in film, is that kind of space where I don't really like to talk about the projects I'm working on until like I know they're coming out, because then as run into people, 2 years later they'll be like, hey, what's going on with what you tell me about? Because it takes so long to kind of develop a project, especially in this space.
Yeah, now that you mentioned that, 2 years ago you were talking about a project. How's
Yeah, probably.
yeah. How's that going? How's that going?
It's been that one, and I know the one you're talking about. We wouldn't mention it, but that one a little rougher. I think I have to get to a different place in my career to like get that one good, because it's like it requires such a budget, and that's the issue. So really and truly, to me in this space, it kind of had to be in a lot more independent film budget, which is like on the lower end.
Yeah.
And so you could have your big dreams, but sometimes you have to scale it back to what's actually achievable. So there's more the projects that I might be looking at right now.
So you're right from the jump, you bring it into the
Yeah,
scary,
not
the scary B word, budgets.
Yeah.
So, well, with that in mind, I hope you're ready to be interrogated.
Yeah, I don't. I have to answer anything.
All right. Well, so firstly, starting, because everyone here, myself included, we all have a story into getting onto this career path. We know where we want to go, but it took us a while to figure that out. What was it like for you?
I think for me, I never had like thoughts or wants to be a filmmaker, so it was a little interesting. My journey was, I had a office job. Who's that? Yeah. My journey is I had like more of a office job. I was working Clico. Yeah, for 1 year, and I quit a week after they made me permanent. And back then, Clico was one of those jobs where like if you had it, you'd probably stay there your whole life.
Yeah.
Yeah, because but from there around then, the UWI Film Programme was now about to start. But I think it might have all started in two places. My literature class in Form 6 in CIC. I that was like the only class I would pay attention in, and I also had a part-time job as an usher at Movie Town. So in a weird way, when I was in Form 6, in a weird way, I think being an usher, I was like watching a lot of movies because I get to see them for free. And then in literature class, I was dealing with a lot of the stories and local literature, and we had two good teachers that were very inspiring. So I think a mix of that, I wanted to do a degree that was similar to that literature class. At the same exact point in time, UWI Film Programme, first year, like there was no had a call for entries type of thing. And I was like, oh, that might be interesting. That might be like literature class. And I did the UWI Film Programme. And so it wasn't like I had some dream. I could see now, growing up now, you might be like, I want to be in entertainment, or I want to be, and because so much exposure. But back then, being a filmmaker, because I did UWI 15 years ago, not to sell out my age. So, you can kind of think how different the world was 15 years ago.
Well, I wouldn't know because I'm 14. So.
Well, yeah. So it's before he was born.
Well, you mentioned literature class. Is that where you discovered Green Days?
No, but oddly enough, we didn't do Green Days by the River.
Oddly enough.
That would be cool though. I would be like, I read it when I'd embellish the story. I'd be like, I read it in high school and then I did it. But no, we didn't read it in CIC literature. We did a lot of we did Derek Walcott. We did
Classic.
Yeah.
Classic masterpiece.
We did
Mastermind.
William Blake. We did like a bunch of other books.
You guys did Blake?
Literature. Huh?
You guys did Blake?
Yeah. So I have a lot of poetry experience and knowledge from all that, because we did Derek Walcott poems and William Blake.
Oh man, I can't help but notice you mentioned CIC.
Yeah.
I think this means we legally obligated to fight.
So where you went?
Press you on us.
Okay, yeah. Now, but CIC have more rivalry with like the QRC and Fatty Ward. When? Yeah, we wouldn't get into
Yeah, we can talk about it. We can talk
the
about that.
football rivalry.
Well, I was gonna ask you where else you could see yourself in, but you mentioned that you started out in Clico.
Yeah, but I that was just it was summer. I graduated from six and I decided let me apply for jobs.
Oh, it
And
was, it was right after school.
it was honestly I really thought I'd have the whole summer to have fun, and I was like just telling my parents, yeah, I was sending out resumes, and I sent out the resume like Monday, and they called me Wednesday, and I was like, what? And then I went and I got a job, and I remember being like, no, I can't. This happened too quick, and then I ended up working a whole year.
Bro, that is a luxury that we would kill to have.
But things was different than you. Like I physically went into the office and dropped off a resume. So I guess they get, and they were giving out like summer jobs. So I think it's just different.
Physically went in. Actually, this is probably sometime pre 2020.
Yeah, we'll do it. This is what I'm saying. This is
Yeah.
probably like 2010. We gotta print your resume out. And kind of email and everything and all of that.
Oh man, I was a baby.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm not actually 14. Don't worry. So
I think you're gonna what else I would have been.
yeah. If well, you said when you got the permanent position at Clico,
Yeah.
is
No,
that
I think I just
is that
felt
what
like
scared you off, or
no, I think I just
was
felt
it
like
the age?
you know what? It felt not to knock security, but it felt like I could predict the next 40 years. And I think I had an issue with that at that point in time. And
Okay, it's starting to make sense now.
right, so I was like, what? Because it's like you're permanent. I was in there, I had a clean shave and bald head. I used to wear my shoes and tie every day. I don't know, I just was like, well, I'm still young. I could always come back and do this. So let me go explore. Let me go do something different. And I applied for the UWI Film Program. And I managed to get in. So.
Well, yeah,
And that was the first year.
yeah,
Like,
first year.
First
Um,
cohort.
Oh yeah, man, that was a legendary class. When we come in here,
Yeah.
they talk about you guys like legend, like oh
Yeah.
the first class they did this and they did this, and we're like, oh, we're gonna be like those guys.
The first class was good. I'll tell you why it was interesting for me was I came in not knowing anything, but my entire year group were industry professionals. So
Ah,
I was a totally different exposure where it was just like four or five of us who were new to the film industry. Everybody else had been working it for like 20, 25 years and came to get their certification. So that experience was we were learning from the teachers, then we were learning from our classmates, and then they would invite us on whatever they have going on. So it was like a constant, and that is how I got like a lot of access to the industry because those classmates were working in it and at all the companies, and so from that I quickly knew everybody.
well, they definitely tell us that part of the education in this industry, not just the film
Yeah,
industry, but generally networking.
it is. It is.
What can you what can you what can you tell us about that? Because you managed to take your feature abroad, and not just abroad, abroad and abroad and abroad and abroad.
Yeah, I think you just have to keep expanding your networks because how I try to view it really and truly is like, you know, I just need to be in a location to film. Other than that, the whole world is the playground for film because it's a global and international industry. So I'm not trying to look at myself as a Trinidadian filmmaker or even Caribbean. I mean, that's why I'm my identity, but rather I just look at it like I can make a story anywhere in the world. So I think it's about just removing those boundaries from our mind. And from that, I was able to just kind of grow. And I feel like I could talk to anybody anywhere and go into rooms that, you know, people might feel uncomfortable, but I'll just try to access them. And and it's just that understanding that we have to be in business with or in co-productions with bigger spaces.
Yeah.
And that's what I've been trying to do. It's not easy, but it's what we're trying to do so that we could grow the filmmaking to like I guess bigger spaces.
Yeah, well,
You know,
glad you mentioned that. A few years back, Michael taught a class that I was in, marketing.
it was good.
It was good. No, it genuinely really opened my eyes as to we come here with the creative and we come here wanting to create, but that's half the journey. It's half the battle.
Yeah, for sure.
And definitely in a space as small as ours, when you have to, it's a very hard battle to fight because you're not just trying to get your work to the local populace. They're trying to get you work internationally, and there's a lot of luxuries a lot of other industries have that we don't. And that, I'm not gonna lie, that class really opened my eyes as to, like, most importantly, things that I wasn't doing at that point that I should have been doing.
I think one of the major things is I don't think people realize like you have to create the success of your film.
Oh,
Nobody gonna do that for you.
you know, it's
So,
insane.
and we've
Yeah.
done like with all the films. I could just say, like you make the film, what you gonna do with it? So we had to go and make them successful, find places to screen them, enter them into film festivals, market them. So like for me, it was always a strange thing where people will come up and be like, "Oh my God, you did this," and it all over the place. But like for me, it's not that at all. It was just a lot of hard work to get into those places.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not. It's all over the place. It's I have clawed and scraped to put it there.
Yeah,
Ye-
essentially.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that with you. I've seen that with a couple other guys and girls, alumni of this program. But with that in mind, what are you watching? And I guess to add to that, what are you watching that inspires you right now? Because this golden age of content that we're in, and I use the word content because it's a lot of everything, movies, films, and then
It's too much.
yeah, you definitely can't keep up. You can have a list that you're never gonna finish. So what are you watching that you look at and you say, you know what, this is something that pushing the boundaries. I want to do that, or maybe something that's just fun for you.
You know,
What does
I
Michael
like,
Mooleedhar like?
I mean, I like a lot of independent films, but I'll watch anything. But I don't. Like I'll even watch stuff I don't like. It's weird. But I'll watch anything. But like what I really like is stuff that is independent, kind of artistic. You know, like okay, one of my favorite films is In the Mood for Love. So, but you ever saw that?
I have not. I'm so afraid to say this on
Right,
camera,
no,
guys.
yeah,
Please
yeah,
cut this out.
you should.
Please cut this out.
No. But one of the funny things about that is, I went from like the first time watching it, like I don't. To be honest, I was like, oh, what is this? To like learning about the movie, to watching it again, to being like, this film is incredible, right? So I took like a journey with that. Off the bat, I just thought it was okay, and then throughout time, I've watched it and rewatched it, right? And I say that to say like, the director in that, which is Wong Kar Wai, is doing something where he had a script and then I think he kind of throws it out the window and just directs a movie and nobody knows what's going on except him and until they see the completed film. And when you watch it, you kind of see like that's him letting go of the rule book and just going for it. Because I think in film,
It's very free spirited.
yeah, and it's also you have to kind of decide what you want to do with your movie. You can have a short list, or you can come and set and go with the flow. Now, I think you have to be at a certain level where you go with the flow, but equal sign, something that is good.
Yeah.
It could easily end up being something that is not that good. But I guess saying all that to say, I really enjoy things that really pushing a creative boundary in storytelling. So like recently, a show I saw recently was something on Apple TV called Sharper, and it was about con artists, but the way they told the story was
Yeah.
just so interesting, and you could see like just from the script in place how well done the writing is. Now coming on the end, it kind of loses its focus for me at least. But I just looked at that and I was like, oh, that was such a different way to connect the different storylines, the way they introduce the characters.
Yeah, it's amazing. I read somewhere that there's only 8 stories that we keep retelling in different ways.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's 8, but it really is amazing. You have your hero's journey. I guess we have the anti-hero's journey now and stuff like that. But I like what you mentioned about the behind the scenes, because we hear of these legendary productions, like Apocalypse Now, amazing film,
Yeah.
but behind the scenes,
Behind-
amazing story.
Behind the scenes probably was a movie for that. I think they had a lot.
Yeah, I think they did. I believe
that was-
Coppola's wife also did a documentary while they were there. I believe.
A lot of things happen on that.
Yo, so with that in mind, I think not to put you in
Go for it.
in a box, but we have we've seen some work from you. We've kind of gotten a sense of who this person is, what this identity is, with the stories that you've chosen to tell, right?
I don't know
You don't know?
because I I think that was being able to get funding.
Back to the
Meaning it have
scary B
projects
word.
that I've been wanting to do. It's kind of like, okay, you look at Green Days by the River, you had to acknowledge, because I'll tell you something, you had to acknowledge the book is the star. So at that point in time, I had a script that I wanted to do that was like say written by Michael Mooleedhar,
Yeah.
and it wasn't getting any traction because I think I at that point was unknown or had done some stuff, but so it's kind of like you're trying to figure out how to get money into a project to get it made, and Green Days by the River between the two was a stronger choice.
So what you're saying is, well, obviously you don't just go make a film.
Yeah.
There's a very long process to there's a process to get to the starting
Yeah.
point that is grueling, and then once you get there, it's years of your life, and then the promotion, it's years of your life. So in no way am I trying to take away from that,
Yeah.
but is what you're saying that the choice to make Green Days, because that was the first feature, right?
Yeah, first feature.
Right. So the choice to make Green Days versus, like you said, an original script. Do you think that was perhaps a strategic move to look at those two choices and, okay, let's let's keep the passion project away for a little bit. Let's go make Green Days. But do you think it's a strategic choice?
Yeah, it's strategic, but in the end, Green Days is the right choice for many reasons. Like, I think now we'd be looking back on the passion project and I'd be like, oh, why did we make that? Because if I go and read that now, I'm like, what is this? But for me, at least, because what I've learned and my knowledge has grown.
Yeah.
So I think it's strategic. It's a film I wanted to make, but I think what we really kind of skating around is it's so hard to make projects that you can't waste one. So
Yeah.
you have to
No,
kinda,
definitely.
yeah, you have to kind of be like, and put your all in and then make that happen. So I think in the end, that was the right choice. What Moss meant was like, it have so few opportunities that when I look back at the catalog of films,
Yeah.
I kind of realized like, they're very cultural, and I think
They are
yeah,
very trendy. Well,
yeah,
watching
cultural,
your
yeah,
films,
yeah.
it's there. It smells of Trini. That is such a poor analogy, but it is there.
Yeah, it's very cultural, and as I was saying, like I would love to do some. I want to say entertainment in a way where a little more, but I don't think the industry in that space, you know,
What
because those are they're not getting like funded.
we definitely
Yeah.
there's a bit of a sinkhole there.
Yeah, no, that was it.
We're all dealing with
Yeah,
that problem. Um so
I have many skills to do something. So with technology now, I find a lot more films should be being made. But the problem is if you want to do it on a higher level, where it's not just you by yourself, or
yeah.
you want three people, that is where the challenge really is.
Well, guerrilla filmmaking in 2010 versus 2024, it's a completely different process, completely different product, right? But you mentioned before to look back at the body of work.
Yeah.
The filmography that
Mhm.
stands on its own is that how what level of importance would you say that is to look back at the filmography, or rather to look forward at what you hope or what you would bring into existence to add to the filmography, that body of work? It is not just a body of work, it's a body of it's a timeline of your life.
Yeah,
It's essentially a timeline of your life.
Yeah. Now I'm like proud of all of it because that is I mean I got lucky to even be able to do so much in a short period of time because I had a little period where like every year we was playing films in the film festival and just grinding and it had not more opportunities, but I was able to collaborate with other filmmakers and kind of make a lot of different projects and just learn a lot. And I think it was like a period where I was just saying yes to everything. So I wasn't thinking about like money or this or anything like that. And I
Are
was
you
just like
are
any
you still there?
opportunity. No, I wouldn't say yes to everything now. But I recommend it to any filmmaker to say yes to every opportunity that comes up. The only reason now is because time has become more, I have like a lot going on, so I can't say yes to everything because like I'll overextend myself. But for like a period of like 10 years,
Yeah.
I probably didn't dish out one no. I was like see if you wanted help, I'd be like, yeah, there. Anything somebody wanted, I was editing projects for people. I was like in that kind of mix, and I was out, shooting, doing anything, working with people, and that would be where a lot of those films, were getting made. So like if somebody called up and say, like when we did City on the Hill, that was just somebody want a connection that wanted to do a film on East Port of Spain. I didn't really even know what the film, like what the project was about. I was like, yeah, let's do it.
As a former hostage of the film program,
Right, yeah.
um, there's a lot of us here that we love shorts, right? In my opinion, shorts is very much necessary to hone your skills. But I also really like it as an art form. I would say it is to a feature what a poem is to a larger piece of literature, right? But also we're trying to break through with a lot of us of these features, right? You as somebody who actually been through the grind and lived to tell the tale. I would stress live to tell the tale. What can you offer us?
I think personally, I think short films, in terms of a concept, harder than a feature length film, because with a feature length, you get to develop the character, you have a more of a story arc. I think if you could truly make a good short film, then you'll be a good feature length director. So the short films to me, like if like some I will watch, if I've certain short films, I'll see that like, I don't know, 7 minutes long, and you're like, wow, that was an incredible short film. I don't think I don't think I'm that good of a like short film director, because when you're doing it so tight, like you have to be so selective and cut out so much fat. I think that's actually a art form unto itself. Now, however, doing commercials, which is like 1 minute or 30 seconds or 45 seconds, I've kind of found a way where okay, you could do a lot in 45 seconds. So it's kind of is weird, but I find short films to really do excellent short films is very hard, and feature films, putting aside energy, time, all the
CS of your life,
all the
essentially.
things,
Yeah.
yeah. But it's a little easier to tell a story in a longer form.
So that sounded to me like different muscles being flexed.
Yeah.
It's definitely you'd
But
say.
but I find like I do one thing I don't like about short films is that like when you're trying to get Green Days by the River Mate, everybody was like, why don't you choose 5 scenes and shoot a show or do a short film to show us what it could be like? And in my mind, all I kept thinking is, well, that's just like 4 days of production of the entire movie. I'd rather just shoot the whole movie.
And have those 40s in there already.
Well, yeah, just knew I wouldn't be able to do it on the scale I want to do it. So I refused to do. I was like, we just gotta make the movie.
That's
And I'm
bold.
gonna get distracted by the short film. That's how I felt. But there's a way you could do a short film and then fund the feature off of that.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, no, but what you did that was is definitely.
I say not to say. I think a short film is the same setup as a feature. It's just less days. So Green Days was 27 days filming. A short film is how much days you might do, 3 or 4. So if you just add on, I mean, there's two different wheels, but if you just add on. But the thing about the long form, the feature film is you have to build up your stamina because to shoot 27
Physically.
days physically,
Yeah.
mentally, running a crew for that long, there's a lot of moving parts and everybody becomes exhausted.
Yeah, no, definitely having a group of people look to you for a month straight, no time off.
Yeah, it's rough.
For every single thing.
You got to be on point, yeah. And that's 27 days filming.
And well, I guess in closing, we have limited time.
Yeah.
So I guess in closing, at this point in your life, at this point in your career, well, you're a married man now.
Yeah.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
Would you say that at this point in your life you're exclusively looking for features, or you are exclusively aiming to make features?
You know what's interesting? I felt that way after Green Days by the River.
Yeah.
Where I was like, oh, I don't want to touch any more shorts. But like I feel right now I feel a little different. I could touch a short film. Like, but it had to be the right context of something I really want to do. Meaning I open to opportunities and different things, but because I think I was looking at it kind of linear, like, oh no, I'm a feature film director, so I don't want to. But like, if you really look at the world of cinema, have big directors who still doing short films.
Lynch.
So I think it's really just about being creative, taking opportunities that come, and telling stories. So I think I growing up a little bit, and my brain beginning to switch a little bit and just see things for what they are. And like a good short film story, I'll definitely do it. Something that I want to do, because short films is really like business cards, for filmmakers. I can update my business card.
You said that
Yeah.
in
Well,
the
this
class.
is that.
You said that in the class, and that really stuck with me. That it's a calling card.
Yeah, somebody says send where you have, you send your short film, and then if they watch it, they're like, oh, okay.
Oh, here's some potential. Maybe
I mean,
here's
a
not
reel
some
is
potential.
technically
A reel is a short film, yeah.
yeah.
Well, we all have reels.
Yeah, I don't have a reel though. I've never done a reel.
Really?
I need to. I've never done a reel.
I mean, you have a feature.
Yeah, but no, people still want to see reels. It's just I don't fully understand it. But I've never done a reel. I don't understand like, can they just take any best year work, and anybody could just do that? Like I don't understand why the reel, But yeah.
Well, I guess it's in 2024. Reels mean something else now entirely.
I just try to be like I don't want me to do it or not. But yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. You don't have time to waste at this point.
Yeah.
So before we go, quick fire round.
Let's do it.
In terms of viewing, narrative or documentary.
I'm gonna go narrative.
All right.
I do like documentaries, but definitely a good movie.
All right. Here's a very important question. I hope you have the right answer.
All right.
And I hope you're ready for the repercussions that might come if you don't have the right answer.
Yeah.
You ready?
I might. All right, go ahead.
Dog or cat?
I go with dog.
The right answer is both.
It's both?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. But you know what happened, to be honest? And there's training for anybody getting married. My wife, kind of afraid of cats, so that's how I went with dog.
How does that is? We will unpack that another time. We will unpack that another time. Doubles or roti?
Doubles.
Topping?
Everything, slight pepper.
That's the right answer. Congrats. Favorite lecturer of UWI at UWI. It doesn't have to be no. Like a director. A lecturer that may have like really been there at a key point in your career that really helped.
Then everybody know I'm gonna say Professor Patricia Mohammed. Professor Mohammed.
The legendary.
Yeah, we did like what? I first met her. She taught me cinema and gender.
Yeah.
And we have made maybe about 7 or 8 films together.
Starting with, if I'm not mistaken, Queens of Europe.
So no, she helped me with Queens of Europe after I made it.
Yeah.
I got myself in a little hot water. She is who got
a little hot water.
Exactly.
A little hot water.
She got me out of it, or helped, and then we went on to make the first film would have been Coolie Pink and Green, then 17 Colors on a Sitar. She produced Schoolboys, then City on the Hill, then after City on the Hill, and then within there we had some documentaries we did something called Becoming Elsa, and the most recent during the pandemic we did a film called As I Was Going to St. Ives, and we premiered it in St. Ives in the UK. So it have films still being made, but it's more of a UK film. It didn't really, I don't know, it didn't do too much in the Caribbean.
I want to see it.
Yeah, I mean I can send you a link to it.
Yes, please do.
Yeah.
And finally, well, I'm not gonna ask you to name one, but top 5 directors.
Top 5?
Top 5. Any criteria? Any criteria?
I might go like I said Wong Kar-wai, Steven Spielberg. I mean, yeah, who else? Quentin Tarantino. You know what? I used to be way more of a Tarantino fan. I don't know how losing, but maybe he making less films too. But
yeah, well, he clocking in at 10.
Yeah. Who else? What was that 4?
Yeah.
I need one more. Suggest one.
Me. You could say me. It's alright.
Suggest how. Suggest.
I would suggest personally.
Yeah.
Joachim Trier. It's a Norwegian director. He made my favorite film of all time, The Worst Person in the World.
What is this?
He made The Worst Person in the World. That's it.
Check that out.
Yeah, it's from 2021. It is magnificent.
Who directed Everything All at Once All the
Time? I know them as the Daniels.
That? Yeah, I'll throw that person in because I love that movie.
2 guys.
Yeah.
So that's the duo. Michael, it's been a minute. It's been very good catching up.
Yeah.
And everybody, thanks for tuning in. Once again, Michael Mooleedhar, thanks again for your time. And see you in the next one.